Ooh. Good morning, school. Welcome to episode 95. Here we go. 95. Ladies and gents, good morning out there, Shred Nation. How are all of you? How was your weekend? Welcome back to another week. We got IG here is a little cockeyed here as I fix it. How are you doing, IG? You better? You having a good morning, IG? We got IG. We have a show that is brought to you Monday through Friday by myself. I am the host, John Reed. Hello. How are you? Welcome aboard. Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific time. We rock and roll here on the school. Where do you find us? You find us on Facebook. You find us on Instagram today. You find us on YouTube. And then if you just want to take the school on the go and you want to learn on the go, or you want to learn and burn, or maybe you're doing some cardio, maybe doing some activity, maybe going for a little walk, because we're going to talk about some stuff like that today. When you go on a little walk, you can do what I do, which is called learn and burn. Learn and burn, where you learn something, where you could take the school on the go in your headphones, and you could burn that fat that you want to. You could burn off the old habits that are no longer serving you. Can I get an amen? Amen. All right. So, but you can do that on Spotify and iTunes. All right. And you could also do a review that would help the show grow organically. And if you're watching this, I'm pointing at you. All right. So I want to start off with telling you a little story here before we get into sad solutions. If you guys are all right, that. So I grew up in Pacific Northwest. All right. This is like rain country here. If anybody has never been to Seattle, we get a lot of rain every year. And I grew up about 45 minutes outside Seattle. So, which I'm pretty proud of. I didn't actually grow up in Seattle. A little jab at all you city people. But I grew up in a place called Lake Stevens. And so it was deep in the woods, like deep in the woods. So I grew up kind of like in canopy of trees. You couldn't really see the sky, riding bikes all day, always wet, always rainy, a lot of moisture. But I lived there until I was in 4th grade, and then I moved over with my grandparents. My grandparents became my guardians. They straightened my butt out. And I went to a place over the mountain that has a bit better weather, and it doesn't rain as much. And so, you know, this seasonal affective disorder that we hear about now, I didn't really notice that when I was younger. And I think, you know, when you're a kid, you don't really notice that type of stuff. But so anyway, I grew up from 4th grade and beyond over the mountain in a place that's pretty light all the time, pretty nice. Doesn't rain a whole lot. We get some brutal winters, which is cool. But then I moved back over the mountain when I was 18. And then I started to realize like just how dark and gloomy it is in the Seattle area. Now I live about 20 minutes away from downtown Seattle, 25 minutes away. And I'm in Bellevue, Washington. And so there is this kind of mindset shift that happens every year. And it's something that I've noticed I need to be on top of. And it is this thing called seasonal affective disorder or seasonal depression. And I think that it's good to have the conversation because there's, I think, always been a stigma around mental health because somehow you seem like you're just a psychopath if you have mental health stuff going on, like, or if you're not diagnosed with something. But I think the reality is that we all have to be aware. And really what it is for me is like, I have to have tools and rituals that I implement every year just to kind of stay on top of my mindset and to stay positive and optimistic. Much like any other time, you know, you should always be trying to feed your mindset because your mind is the most valuable tool you have, other than maybe your heart, which pumps blood to the rest of your body and keeps you alive. But other than that, you know, we want to be protecting our mind. And so in today's episode, we're going to be talking about seasonal affective disorder solutions. And before we do this, I just want to say I do not have all the answers, nor do I want to portray that I do. I am just somebody who's extremely passionate about fitness and health and controlling the space in between my two ears. And we're going to be talking about things that I implement every year. And you can take them and maybe implement them yourself. And if they help you, that's fantastic. You know, if you think that it's mumbo jumbo, then go ahead and you know, say so, or keep it to yourself, man, or, you know, figure out your own path. But Definitely I'm not a mental health professional. I'm a personal trainer who just tries to help people increase the quality of their life. And so I look at things and I examine things and I examine my own stuff. So with that disclaimer, let's go ahead and get into some things that I find valuable. I have 5 tips for you on this show today that we're going to talk about. And the first one is getting outside as much as possible. That's the first thing that I do to try and fend off any kind of seasonal depression that I might experience. So if I start to, feel a little bit depressed or a little slower, like really more to me, it's like fatigue. I start to feel tired and I lack motivation. That's kind of what I call seasonal depression, is when the motivation starts to slow. You got to try a little harder to get up in the morning. You got to try a little harder. Use a little extra pep talk to work out. And so getting outside for me is one thing that I have noticed over the last couple years is something that has become extremely imperative, actually. Like getting outside in the cold, getting fresh air, enjoying nature. Because I know for myself, typically during the winter months, I feel like I have to completely change my routine. I'm outside 90% of the time in the summertime, laying in the sun, listening to music, basically creating a resort out of my backyard. So I feel like I'm on vacation all the time. And this year I was. Thanks, COVID. I was on vacation for 5 months. Wasn't able to operate my business. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We're all going through it, right? But I'm always outside in the summer. But then when the winter comes, I'm typically it's like, okay, now you're inside. Now what are you going to do? Are you going to you drinking more wine? Are you watching more TV? Are you Netflix and chilling? You're not doing as much. So for me, what I found that actually helps correct this seasonal depression and a little bit of blueness is to get outside every day. And I like to do that with daily walks. And yes, we talk about steps a lot on this show because it's super imperative. It's very, very important for you. It's very, very beneficial for you. And furthermore, nature has the secret. Nature has the secret. So getting outside is going to be beneficial in a lot of ways. A lot of ways that we don't even really know of, right? Like there's obviously the blue light production that you get when you go outside that wakes you up. There's the balancing of the circadian rhythm with a little bit of vitamin D, even if it's light out and it hits your skin. It doesn't have to be super sunny. But just getting outside will help balance your circadian rhythm and help wake you up. So I like to get outside with daily walks. That's been a big one. Or yard work during the winter. Just bundle up and get after it. But not changing my routine of being outside and getting daily walks in. Walks for me can be quite meditative. And so that's why I like to do that. That's probably my favorite technique my favorite solution for seasonal affective disorder that I experience every year. Keeps me optimistic, keeps me on point, keeps me where I need to be. It's all right. So number 2 is I start the day with gratitude. This is a huge one. Start the day with gratitude. It is hard. It is impossible to be depressed and woe is me when you're grateful. If you're thinking about the things that you're grateful for right now, like think of one thing you're grateful for. What's the number one thing you're grateful for right now? And you can't really be depressed if you're living in gratitude. And so the way that I do this is message somebody in my life, family, friend, whoever, message them something that warms me about them, that, I appreciate them, I'm grateful for them. Or I meditate. And in meditation, I will think of all the things that I'm grateful for in my life, or I journal it. You can journal it as well. So, writing things down, doing a morning journal first thing in the morning when your brain is fresh, the day has not got to you yet, the media has not manipulated you yet, you have fresh eyes for the world. You can set the tone by doing a gratitude exercise in the morning. This is a really profound practice that I have gotten deeper and deeper into, through my time as an adult, if you want to call it that. And so you can message somebody. That's always great because it's spreading the love times 2. And then you also got meditate. And when you're in your meditation, think of all the people that you love. Think of all the things that are great in your life. Don't think of the lack of. Think of abundance. Create this abundance mindset. And then you can journal as well. Do a quick journal in the morning. Just talk about the intention of the day and all that. And something else I wanted to add to this is setting goals is amazingly potent to keep you on track if you're starting to feel a bit depressed. I know that helps me, and that definitely helps my clients that I train. When we reset their goals around this time of year, it tends to light a fire, and they have something to focus on, and so they're not allowing weeds to grow where there is no seeds planted. Okay, weeds will grow where there is no seeds planted, and so we want to keep our brain busy with positivity, gratitude, and having goals that we're trying to reach. That can really, really help. I've found it helps me, and it's helped my clients when we just reset their goals for their mental health practices. So the next one is read something inspiring. All right. Read something inspiring. And again, this could be done at the beginning of the day. Definitely a big fan of this. And right in the beginning of the day, before the world has affected you, read something that inspires you. I have all sorts of books that are all about mindset. And these fall into the category of self-development books. And they are awesome. So get yourself some self-help books. Some people try to say self-help and make you seem lame. That tends to be people with a negative mental attitude. Do not listen to those people. But self-development books are amazing. They're an amazing tool. And what they do is they can compound if you start reading them daily. Read, a chapter out of a book daily, and you'll notice over the course of a couple weeks or months, you will start to speak in terms of positivity and what you're reading. Okay, this is a huge one that I don't think a lot of us, actually are aware of. The only reason I'm aware of it is because I have gone down both rabbit holes in the past. When I'm allowing negativity in, negativity comes out of my mouth. When I'm allowing positivity in and I'm training that, positivity comes out, and I feel optimistic, and it helps my mental health and my spirit. So a few books that you might want to look into. I'm just going to give you a couple of ones that I love that I go back to that are basically like a cabinet of mentors on my bookshelf. The first one is Think and Grow Rich. That to me is the holy Bible of mindset and business. That's something I actually read it kind of like the Bible, where like most people do, where they read a passage out of it a day. I read a passage out of Think and Grow Rich every day because I think that guy was so far ahead of his time. It's absolutely ridiculous. There's something that we have lost since the early 1900s, and it's amazing to me that how potent that literature is from that time, from the late 1800s into the early 1900s. Napoleon Hill is the guy who wrote that. He was chums with Henry Ford and Dale Carnegie. I don't think he actually knew Henry Ford, but he definitely created him in his mind and talked to him. But just amazing, the best book probably ever written. I think it's the #1 selling business book of all time, but it's a huge mindset book about how you can think things into existence through action, a bunch of other great stuff. So Think and Grow Rich is one. Another one from Napoleon is Success to a Positive Mental Attitude. If you've listened to the show before, you know that that's the book that changed my whole life when I was like 20 years old. I had some really tattered, beat up, disgusting, there might have been gum chunks in it, real old copy of that book. And I read that thing and it changed my life and it changed my outlook on life. So Success to a Positive Mental Attitude is a good one as well. Another great book is Today Matters by John C. Maxwell. He talks about leadership. He's a leadership coach. Talks about if you add up enough good days, if you focus on today mattering, because today is all that matters. If you do that over and over, that's a successful life. And he's got his daily dozen that are a bunch of, it's 12 tools that you can implement daily. It's an amazing book, a very empowering book, and can light the fire for you. And then The Compassionate Samurai by Brian Clemmer. That's a great one. Just talks about being somebody of integrity and resolve and character and being, being a compassionate samurai, being hard when you need to, but then being soft when you need to as well. That's a great book, character book. And then anything Zig Ziglar, he's also a great author. Anything Zig Ziglar is a great mindset. So read something inspiring daily. That's number 3. Number 4 is I increased exercise. So I increased my activity. Exercise releases endorphins. And yeah, you can overdo this where, it's unhealthy, where your body's not recovering, where maybe you are, you're developing an unhealthy relationship with exercise. Absolutely can happen. But at the same time, there's a time and a place to train super hard. And I find I like training really hard in the wintertime and training often and always being half sweaty because it helps. It helps the voices in between my two ears. It helps my mindset big time. So that's something that you might try. Something that for my clients it works very, very well. And I'm not talking about punishing yourself with 2 workouts a day, 2 super hard workouts a day, but increasing volume and just using it as a form of mental health juice or medication. So and then number 5, the last one that I got for you today is watch comedy movies. Watch your favorite comedy movies. If I'm ever feeling particularly down and I need to just totally decompress from life, maybe I don't want to read, maybe I'm going down the rabbit hole and I'm not feeling so good. I'll just take a couch day. I'll couch surf for a day and I'll throw on all my favorite comedy movies, and that always lifts me up. Comedy has always been something that's very important to me in my life. I grew up on Jim Carrey movies and, probably the best comedy movies of all time, being in the 90s. So those are always amazing. Comedy movies, shows, whatever, find what you like. I'm not going to recommend certain names. I mean, Dumb and Dumber is always a good one. But you find your own, make a list, and then just have these tools in the toolbox. These things can really help. They sure as heck help me. So anyway, those are your 5 tips. 5 tips or your 5 solutions for seasonal affective disorder. They could possibly be solutions. Again, I'm not a mental health expert. I'm just a guy trying to live a healthy lifestyle that's trying to pass on good information to people. So hopefully these help you, and they help you reduce just feelings of blueness when it starts to get dark out and colder out and all that. Look for the beauty, you guys. That's the main thing. I mean, that's what am I getting at today? Look for the beauty in life. Life is presenting you with overwhelming beauty every day that you're alive, but you have to tune into that vibration and become aware of it, as opposed to counting all of the things you don't have. Start counting all the things you do have. You can do that with gratitude. You can do that with getting outside and being mindful. You can do it with meditating, reading good books, reading inspiring books, and really focusing on yourself. Focus on your own development and getting better as a person. So those are S.A.D solutions. That's episode 95. Thanks for tuning in today, school. I want you to have a great day. Have a great day, great day. It's a Monday rally here. With that, I want you to stay strong and healthy in body. Stay relentless and energized in spirit. And stay determined in your pursuits today. If not anything else, stay determined in your pursuits. We'll be back here tomorrow at 9 a.m. Pacific time. And that spells shred. Now go shred the day and get better in every way. All righty. Have an awesome day. Until next time, class is dismissed.